Hi everyone, my name is Alicia and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I've got a super exciting tutorial for you guys because we will be making corsets. This pattern is super easy, perfect for beginners because I am also a beginner and I just made this up. So it's really cute. You can make it fit you like very nicely. But yeah, this is what it looks like. It goes a little bit longer in the front and then shorter in the back. You don't need much fabric for this like at all. It's awesome in that way, like literally 1 yard of fashion fabric, 1 yard of lining, and then just a couple other notions that you will need to get the corset effect. And this is so fun. I got like this really like shiny metal looking one, so I'm super obsessed. I hope that you guys like it too, and if you make it, definitely send it to me on Instagram. I would love to see it. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so let's make this corset. So you're going to need your 2 fabrics, your fashion fabric. I got this beautiful shiny one. It was on sale because it's like a Halloween fabric for only $3 a yard. And you only need 1 yard. You actually don't need a lot of fabric for this. And then a lining fabric. And so one or both of your fabrics has to be non-stretch so that your corset will be like nice and tight and taut and will actually like cinch you in. So yeah, both of mine are actually non-stretch today, and this is just like a basic cotton fabric that I have left over from another project. So let's take this down to the cutting mat. So I'm taking a corset that I already know fits, and I'm folding my fabric down and laying this on top so that I know kind of the shape that I want. And I'm just taking some chalk and just kind of like tracing out the kind of vibe that I want to make. And this is just for the front piece. I'm leaving about an extra inch everywhere so that I know that I have extra seam allowance, and then we're going to cut this out. You could use weights to make sure that your fabric doesn't move, but I live on the edge. Okay. So this is what my front panel looks like. Pretty nice. Now I'm just going to copy this onto my lining fabric. So now we have our lining piece and our fabric piece for the front panel, and now we are going to make the back / side parts that are going to be used to corset it up the back. So this is a long side, right? This part that's closest to your back. And now I'm just taking a folded piece of the lining, matching it up, and I'm just going to cut out like a rough kind of rectangle. We'll probably cut this shorter later. But yeah, just cutting out a rough rectangle that we are going to add on to be our back pieces. Gorgeous, so we have this, and I'm going to cut this in 2 along the fold so that I have one for this side and one for the other side. And I'm going to do a exact match of that piece in the fashion fabric as well. So you should have 6 pieces of fabric cut out, a front and a back for the left back side, front and a back for the right back side, and then a front piece with the lining. Yeah, so 3 major components and 3 lining components. Let's head to the sewing machine. Okay, so now I've pinned together both my fashion pieces and my lining, and we are going to leave the bottom part open. We're not going to sew that. And then for like these rectangle pieces, again, lining, fashion fabric, and make sure to leave a little hole opening so that you can flip it inside out. So I'm just going to toss a straight stitch all the way around the edges, and yeah. Oh, and make sure that your thread matches your fashion fabric as best as possible. Okay, and so now you have a nice stitch across all of your pieces. Now you are going to gently flip them inside out. For these square ones, you want to make sure that the corners are poked out too. And for that, you could just take like some tweezers or like a stick of sorts. And so I just kind of like cinch the fabric up, stick my tweezers in them, and push out the ends. There's like tools that you can buy for this, but like really you don't need them. You can just jam out the ends with a blunt end of your tweezers. And gorge. Now we have this nicely finished piece. So lovely, so fancy, and I'm gonna flip out the front piece on the other side too. Okay, so now we are going to take some boning. I got this like plasticky one on Amazon. It came in an actually giant roll. I made a couple things with it, and I'm not even close to being used with it. Anywho, so we are going to figure out how long we need them. And give yourself a little bit extra on each piece. And I'm going to need around 6 pieces of boning, I think. One's for the outside, one's for kind of like right on the outside of the boobs, and then one for like the center. So, just going to line these up and snip, and just make 6 of these. Alright, so I have a top secret tip for you guys. Not really top secret, but just like something that I figured out that I thought that I should share. So the first time that I got these kind of like plasticky boning things, I tried to iron it on an ironing board, but every time I would like iron it, then like the other part would like bend up, and I could not get it straight for the life of me. I tried it so many times. I don't know if I'm just doing it wrong. But one thing that I'm better with is a hair straightener. I just have this like little mini one that like don't matter if I get any sort of like gunk on it. But you just feed it through nice and slow. And then this will straighten it out. I might speed this up. It's just like doing your hair. Boom. Perfectly straight. Almost. It could use another pass. But you get the point. Now I'm going to have a much better like look with this straight one versus this. And I'm sure that you can get the same effect with an iron, but we all have straighteners, right? Most of us. Anyhow. If you want this one, I think it was like 20 bucks at Walmart. Okay, so our first boning is going to go in the side here. So we left the bottom open for a reason. So I'm just sliding in the boning just like that. Making sure it fits and everything. And if you have any sharp edges on your boning, you can take like a nail file and kind of like, if you'd like. I might do that because this fabric is a little bit fragile, so might need to do that. But figure out how thick your boning is, and that is like where you need to do your stitch along the side. So we're just going to do a straight stitch. My boning is probably about like 1 centimeter thick. So I'm going to set this up. You can use the lines that are on your sewing machine. There should be like a little grid. If not, eyeball it. No, don't listen to me. Don't eyeball it. You can make a mark with a ruler and some chalk if you need to. But I'm gonna eyeball it. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm doing. You want to eyeball it, don't you? Okay. Anyhow. So, yeah, just lining up my fabric, Make sure that everything is laid very nicely so you don't need to adjust it. I actually might need to put clips in this. So, yeah. Okay, so I have like a little channel there. I don't know if you can see it, but now I can take a piece of my boning and just slide it through the little channel that I've made all the way to the end and gorge. Now I've got like my first part that's nice and hard, and that's gonna go on the side there. So now I want to do the exact same thing on the other side. Okay, so I have my boning in both sides, and so it should look like this now. So gorge. So now you can make kind of marks of where you want your other boning to go. It's not as easy because you need to put seams on both sides now because you don't have like a hard edge to work off of. So yeah. So figure out where you want those other ones to go and make sure that it's even on both sides. So you could fold it in half, just like that, if you did everything right. Yeah, just like fold it in half and kind of figure out where you want figure out where you want those other pieces to go. And they should kind of like come inwards towards the center. Just kind of like fit like the very cinched corset vibe. Okay, so with a piece of chalk, I have mapped out, this is kind of hard to see, where I want to put my other boning pieces, just on the inside, so that when I run it through my sewing machine, I can just follow along with the lines. So this one I actually didn't eyeball it for the first time ever. I took a ruler, just like this, just kind of figured out, eyeballed it, figured out where I wanted to put those straps, how far, the boning, how far I wanted to put them apart, and then just drew it out with a piece of chalk, and then mirrored it for the other side just so that they are as close to perfect as we can get. So yeah, back to the sewing machine. Again, we are going to just do a straight stitch, just straight down, and I'm following my chalk lines. And make sure that these lines are far enough apart so that you can actually get your boning through. The last time I made one of these, I made the mistake of making them too skinny, and then it just looks terrible. Okay, so that's one channel. Let's see if I did it right. Oh, a little bit skinny at the bottom, gonna be honest. Gorgeous though. And perfect. Okay, so there's that channel, and there's the boning. So beautiful. Okay, so let's do the other three, and then we'll be done with the boning. Heck yeah. Okay, so we have all of the boning in. Looks gorgeous, like liquid. I'm obsessed with this. So now, I'm just flipping over my work, and we are going to add on those little side panels. So I'm making sure that that corner matches up with the top corner. And we are going to sew it on just like this. And then same for the other side. Just like that. Top corner to top corner. And yeah, this is what it's gonna look like. Okay, so these puppies are being sewn together like this. I'm actually sewing it like right into the boning because my plastic boning allows me to do so. Nice and slow, just so that it's nice and strong. Yeah. And then of course, repeat on the other side. Okay, so now those pieces are attached on, and this is what we're looking at. It's so pretty. Oh my god. Okay, anyhow. So now I want you to hold it up to your body and pull. Ah, I'm in love. Okay. So now mine crosses at the back. You want it so that there's like space for you to like really tighten it. So what we're going to do is actually fold over these pieces to like stiffen them so that it will be nice and strong, so that you can like actually put some weight into it. So yeah, we're going to figure out how much you need to fold on each side. I'm going to need a few inches. I might ask someone for help on measuring this, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, we're just going to see how much we need to take away from these sides and then fold it over like so. Oops. And like stick this down with a straight stitch. Okay, so I've finished those folded over parts. So now the corset looks like this. Oh my gosh, in this lighting it looks like a Cinderella corset. Like, I'm just loving this fun little fabric I have going on. Anywho, so now I'm taking just a piece of vinyl. It's like for upholstery outdoors. I just like had a bunch of it. But this is going to be the sturdiness that we need so that we don't rip apart our corset when we add like the straps at the back. So I'm just taking a little piece that's just as big as my folded off part. It's a little bit bigger, honestly. And now I'm just going to line it up with the edge and do a straight stitch down one side, straight stitch down the other, just so that it is locked into place. And now I'm going to repeat on the other side and trim off the excess. Okay, so my little patches are in, and now before we add the grommets, I thought that we'd just do our last bit of sewing. So our bottom looks busted, crusted, and rusted. So what we're going to do is trim off the excess bits of the boning that you have sticking out. Anyhow, so trim off those excess bits, and we're just going to fold this over just inward to itself and just do a straight stitch across the bottom. Nice and quick, nice and easy. So yeah, I'm gonna do some little haircuts for these guys. Trim, 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 and then fold it over. Okie dokie. Yeah, so once I have them like actually trimmed, then I'm going to just run it through for a straight stitch. And then we're done with the sewing machine. Okay, hey, so it's the next day because this part is actually kind of loud and I need to like go somewhere else to do it. So for the grommets, I got this grommet kit off of Amazon, and there's two ways that you can do it. There's like this little thing. It looks a little bit like, I don't know, like a little eyebrow pen or like eyeliner pencil. Anywho, so like you will put this onto your fabric and it has like a little hole in the end, and then take a hammer and like until it punches a hole. But I found that this hole is slightly too large, but it might work for you. I don't know. I've just like had some trouble with it. But my dad just had this like in the garage. I'm not exactly what it's like properly used for because it was like in his toolkit. But yeah, might just be for like punching holes in belts. But anywho, so you're going to figure out how many like holes you want and punch. I think I'm gonna do maybe like 5 and take a ruler and figure out like how much space I want between each hole. And then all you've got to do is just punch, punch, punch. And so like if you have like a punch like me, you want to punch your holes in towards the back. So if there's anything ugly, it goes to the inside of your fabric. So I'm taking that pointy part and putting it like this. And then okay. And then, I don't know if you can see, but it's punched that hole. Now I'm going to measure out the rest of my dots and then do it on the other side. And then we'll get to grommeting in the basement. Okay, so now for the pieces that you'll need to like actually grommet, you'll need your little grommets, preferably in a color that matches your fabric nicely or contrasting. Like when I did a black corset, I used red grommets and it was like super cute. Anyhow, so you need this part with the color on it. And then this is kind of hard for me to pick up with nails, but this little, come on, this little like metal ring thing. You'll need your base. And then there is this piece. It has a little hole in the bottom that just fits onto that. You have your holes. You want to make sure that the colored part is on the outside, and you're going to jam in that till it goes to the inside. So on the outside it looks like that, and on the inside it looks like this. If you want, you can take like some tweezers or something to pull away if there's anything in the way, because you want there to be some nice metal on metal contact. You feel? And so take the outside, the good side of your fabric, and put that little metal weighted thing on. And that metal part is going to go onto your desk. And then we're going to take one of those metal circles. I just dropped that, but you get the point. One of the little metal circles, and put it on top, sandwiching your fabric together. Okay, so we have the metal part at the bottom touching the colored part of the grommet. Fabric sandwiched, and then that metal circle. Now there's a hole on the bottom, and using that to press that down. And I don't know how I'm going to hold this. Maybe I'll put this back on the tripod. So now that we have all of our pieces together, now you're just going to take a hammer and bop, 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 bop. Just until it's secure, but I'm going to do this part in my basement on the concrete floor so that I don't break my table or anything. Yeah, because we're just like slamming metal onto a freaking table. So yeah, be careful at home, be safe, don't hurt yourself or anyone else, because we're working with like actual tools here. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna do this and repeat this process for all of the different holes. And so you'll have something that looks like this, and this on the back, and it'll be a nice strong hole for you to lace your strings through. So yeah, repeat on both sides for all of your holes. On Instagram and TikTok. Lots of love, thank you, bye.